right, Mama, today's episode is going to be a quick one, but it's an important one. Imagine you have a newborn. You are exhausted because you're not getting as much sleep as you might have thought you would get. And somebody tells you you should not be drinking that cup of coffee. It's going to mess with your baby. So you get to be tired and have no coffee. And now you're like, oh no, can I drink coffee while I'm breastfeeding? That's what we're going to talk about today.
Hey, Mama Bear. Welcome to the Breastfeeding with Confidence podcast. Do you dream of bonding with your baby through exclusive breastfeeding, but worry about breastfeeding pain or low milk supply? Maybe you're struggling with breastfeeding and no one seems to have any answers. I'm Jamie Doula, International Board Certified Lactation Consultant and mom of 5, and I have been where you are. After working through painful latches, milk supply worries, and postpartum depression, and supporting countless mothers through their breastfeeding journeys for over 8 years, I'm here to tell you breastfeeding doesn't have to be perfect to be positive. Each week, I'll share breastfeeding tips to help you prevent and overcome unexpected breastfeeding challenges so you can actually enjoy bonding with your baby. If you are ready to shut out the toxic whispers of the world, embrace your God-given intuition, and release your inner fierce mama bear, grab some coffee or your favorite herbal tea and let's dive in.
Hey, Mama, one of the most common questions I get from new moms is, can I drink coffee while breastfeeding? First of all, I get it. You are exhausted. You've been up all night. That morning coffee feels less like luxury and more like survival. The thought of giving it up is just like, no, thank you. Sounds pretty bad, right? Well, here's the good news. For most breastfeeding moms, you absolutely do not need to give up caffeine. Research shows that a moderate amount of caffeine, about 200 to 300 milligrams per day, which is usually 1 to 2 cups of coffee, is generally considered safe while breastfeeding. Now, here's the part that can cause some confusion. Caffeine does pass into your milk, but in really, really small amounts. The thing is, babies do process caffeine a little more slowly than adults. So that means while most babies won't be bothered at all, some babies, especially newborns or preemies, they could be a little more sensitive. So how do you know if your baby is sensitive? If they seem unusually fussy or restless, they're having trouble settling to sleep, and you've been drinking a lot of caffeine, it might be worth experimenting with cutting back on that and seeing if it makes a difference. But I've heard where moms are like, oh, my baby's really colicky. It's because of the caffeine, so I can't have coffee. And then they cut out caffeine and it doesn't get better, but they still think they can't have caffeine. Usually, most of your baby's feeding issues are going to be related to something else. But it is worth that little experiment, right? See if it gets better. But what we can do is we can consider like timing, all right? So time your caffeine. If you drink your coffee right after feeding, there might be enough time for your body to metabolize it before the next feed, lowering the amount that reaches your baby. Also, if you're drinking caffeine in the morning, it might not affect your baby in the evening. But if you're drinking caffeine in the afternoons, it could affect your baby's bedtime. So we want to be considerate of timing. Also, something to consider is that coffee is not the only place you're getting caffeine, right? So it's not just coffee and tea that you have to be looking for, but sodas, chocolate, energy drinks, even some pain relievers like Excedrin or pre-workout supplements have caffeine added in that you might not realize. It all adds up. So make sure you're keeping an eye on that overall intake and you're not accidentally layering in more where you don't need it. Here's the bottom line. You don't need to feel guilty for having a cup of coffee or tea while you're breastfeeding. If you notice a clear pattern of sensitivity in your baby, make adjustments based off that. But you're not harming your baby. And sometimes that little boost of energy is exactly what you need to keep going. So go ahead and drink your coffee. Listen to your body. Listen to your baby.
All right, Mama Bear, that is a wrap for today. If this episode helped you feel a little more confident or a little more prepared for breastfeeding, can I ask you a quick favor? Go ahead and leave me a review. It helps other moms find this podcast and join us in this amazing community of fierce and confident mama bears. And hey, if you know a friend who could use some encouragement or real talk about pregnancy, breastfeeding, and all things motherhood, share this episode with her. You've got this, Mama Bear. Trust your instincts, stay fierce, and I'll catch you in the next episode.